Well, hello again. Welcome back to my channel, Alan Retired in the Philippines. Today's topic is living alone after 60 on small pension. I'll try to make this story short. There's a lot of us that are getting old, living alone, uh, very lonely. We get into situations that we never thought of. For example, I thought everything was perfect for my retirement. I was married, had a good job over 10 years. Didn't pay much, but I loved it. It was a good job. Um, Bought a fixer-upper home uh, to avoid high interest and everything. We did the land contract. The house was for $24,000 at $500 a month for 4 years. It was a fixer-upper. It was something to work with. But I was forced to retire at 62, and that was my house payment. And my ex-wife was on disability. We had two incomes. Everything was going fine for a long time. We almost had the house paid for. And then my wife and I ended up having a divorce, so I lost half the income. Prices are so high back in the States. I was doing the math, and between land taxes, car insurance, car payment, electric bill, gas bill, etc., etc., there was more going out than I had coming in. And eventually my wife got sick and passed away. I was hoping we could work things out, but that's the sad part. Anyhow, I was left in a bad situation that I did not anticipate it. I really thought I was all set for life. Everything was good. But things happen, for your other folks there, how you lose partners one way or the other, and you end up, all your dreams just gets crashed. But I'm there thinking, how am I going to survive now? Because at this time, I was in my mid-60s, going 67 and stuff, and between working on the farm and getting my pension, I couldn't work forever. Getting old, very very demanding. It was 14-hour days working on the farm. Come home, do laundry, cook for myself, and everything. And like I said, I couldn't afford to live alone. So what do? I end up selling the house, making plans. Do I buy a camper or what? Live down by the river. Wasn't sure. But living alone gave me a lot of time on the computer and on my phone and the YouTube. And a lot of people in my position, they were moving to different countries. That's lower cost of living. And I got to thinking, maybe that might be an option for me. So I was in the Philippines in 1972, or 1974, I should say, the last 2 years of my army. And I really loved the Philippines. I did research, and there's very, very inexpensive to live here. So, I'm the type that don't like living alone. The old song, I don't like sleeping alone. So I went online, and I found a wonderful woman that was close to my age, and it was on an old social media site, not really a dating site. We pretty much knew how the game worked, and we were making arrangements to come here and make a go of it. And pandemic hit. So during the pandemic, I continued working, getting pandemic money. I sent my money to my future fiance. Yes, I know, I went against what everybody says. Don't send a woman money that you never met. But like I said, she's only a few years younger than me. She was very transparent, introduced me to her family, her church members. Actually, she went right in front of her church and testimonial. She met a man and we're starting a relationship. She was in a group called Handmaidens, which is when they have a meeting every month, there's over 100 women there. She wouldn't stand up in front of all those people and announce our engagement and our plans and everything if she was trying to scam me. Just do your vetting on people. But anyhow, um, I started sending her budgets to build us a house because renting is throwing money out the window. Um, Plus, my mother passed away during the time. And it took forever for the lawyers to settle things. I'm talking years, during pandemic and after pandemic. But anyhow, about the same time, I got a small inheritance. The same time I sold my house. It was very hard downsizing. That was the hardest thing I did in my life because you work so hard for many years to gain your security, and when you sell your house and all your items, you know, I ended up with I lost everything, you might say. But yeah, and hopefully I'm gaining something here in the future. But it was such an insecure feeling. The car that I bought, oh, it was a beautiful car for 10,000. But between interest and insurance and this and that, I ended up paying 20,000 on it. I was still making payments on it, so I let them repossess it. Which I'm kind of ashamed of because I'm always responsible on my bills. But anyhow, when I sold my house and got my small inheritance, by the time I paid off all my back taxes, all my back bills, because I was getting deeper and deeper in debt through a pandemic and everything, and I literally left the States to the Philippines with nothing but a backpack over my shoulder. And when I was on that plane, I go, "Oh my God, this is the worst thing I, I ever done." Because I lost all my security. When you get older, you want security. But like I said, my wife and I built a house during all this time, and I even had her buy us a car before I got here. Now my pension is just over $1,000 a month, and there's no way I could survive uh, you know, on that back in the States unless you qualify for food stamps and all these assistance programs and go through the line to a welfare. No, 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 no. I can't do that. I've taken care of myself all my life. I can't depend on the government for anything. But for $1,000 a month, for a house that already built for us, we can survive very, very good here in the Philippines. So we knew it was going to be a challenge on a relationship because of culture differences. We already knew that ahead of time. My wife and I, see, I came here in December 14th, year 2022. And then we got married 30 days after we got here. Now, there's no divorce in this country. So when a woman decides to marry you, you know that she's very sincere to make it work. It's not like in the States, where you can get married and get a divorce, $300 and go on to the next. These women are very, very sincere. That shows that they're willing to make things work. Anyhow, you do have alternatives. Don't think that your life is passed by. Coming here to the Philippines or even other Asian countries, it gives you a second chance in life. If I stayed in the States, I would just continue to go downhill, and I was going to live the rest of my life that way. I hope this video kind of helps. If you're living alone and have a small pension, there are ways out. Extremely happy now. I never thought that I could live this good, in another country on such a low pension. I'm so comfortable here. There's many times I forget I'm even living in a foreign country. This is home. A lot of people have problems adapting, but if you don't have patience and if you can't adapt to a different country and their culture and their ways, then I don't know what to tell you. Good luck on whatever that you do. But don't be afraid to venture out. My grandfather always said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. That stuck with me, for over 50 years, and he's exactly right. But I hope you find this video helpful. I hope you give me a like, subscribe, and notification bell for future videos. And feel free to leave a comment. I'm still trying to get monetized here for YouTube and to share my experiences with everybody else that there are ways out. Stay positive, okay? All right, I hope to see you on our next video. You all have a good one. Stay safe and stay healthy. And we'll see you later.